Good morning, everyone. Welcome to some Sunday morning Arkham. This is Mike, the Wandering Took, and today, this is exciting. We are at the third last scenario in the Innsmouth conspiracy cycle. This is the solo Amanda Sharp campaign going into A Light on the Fog. So, just a quick synopsis. In the last adventure, Amanda has been getting her memories back slowly and went through this wild chase through Innsmouth and then a wild car chase out of Innsmouth into the lighthouse. So we are in the present time because half these scenarios are flashbacks. And now we are in the lighthouse to let's investigate what we can find. We know this has something to do with the cult of Dagon. Of course, being that this isn't a flashback, it also means that we are susceptible to permadeath. But luckily, this is a fairly fast deck, so I should be not too worried about that. All right, so some things you should know about this deck. Once again, for those who are just tuning in for the first time, Amanda Sharp's ability is that every turn you draw an extra card, and then you pop a card underneath her, and you are committing those pips to every eligible skill test that you have that turn. So she cycles through her deck really fast, but she also has to be very cognizant of what she has in her hand to make sure that she's got the right skill pips underneath her because her stats are twos across the board, which isn't so amazing. What is amazing is that you can pop things underneath her that are normally once per turn things that are now not, like a vicious blow can now be under her for the entire turn. So she can go from reasonably good to absolute bonkers with the right hand, and that's why I like her. So this deck is very much a draw a lot of cards, pitch a lot of things to test. Changes from last time. I did in the previous adventure have one leveled up vicious blow. This time I've added a second one because there is a mad lighthouse captain somewhere in here that's going to take some big fighty power to get rid of. And I don't want him slowing me down. I've also added 2 copies of leveled up Perception because book pips are great and card draw is just as great, if not better. And this deck is almost fully optimized. I say almost because there's only a couple more cards to add, although they are a lot of XP. So we'll see how far I get. And I've got 2 XP in the bank, so it's exciting. I'm excited to see what the next iteration brings. Okay, starting off, this is the lighthouse. This is the main level. There is a basement that we'll add later. And up on top, we have the lantern room. I start at the Falcon Point gatehouse, which has 1 shroud. It's your resign location. There's no clues. And then the act and agenda. You'll notice we have a doom on the agenda, and that is because the tide is rising. In other words, I did not complete Devil Reef. That's really hard to do, so I imagine a lot of people have at least 1 doom. The other way to do this is to doom out in the previous scenario your car chase, because then you arrive after sunset and there's a second doom on that location. Okay, Agenda 1A, Fog on the Bay. A curl of mist wraps the lighthouse in an otherworldly veil. The waves lap at the rocks on the shoreline like hungry wet tongues. Overhead, the moon gleams unnaturally bright in the sky. You have a curious feeling you are not alone. Okay, so locations on the same row are connected to one another, which means that everything in this gatehouse is looks like it's connected. All right, excellent. And when this agenda advances, move all doom on it to the next agenda. That implies we don't want to be on this agenda very long. The lighthouse. All signs point to this lighthouse being a base of operations for the Esoteric Order of Dagon. There's not much left of Innsmouth to investigate, so this is your best chance to find answers. What exactly is the Order up to? You must find out before they realize you're here. Objective is to spend 3 clues and advance. Alright. I definitely want to get those 3 clues really quickly, because it makes the first mini-boss fight rather difficult if you let that doom out. Okay, drawing my opening hand. Cryptic Research is good. Vicious Blow is good. Shortcut, Promise of Power, Cryptic Writings. So I'm definitely tossing the Cryptic Writings. Probably the Promise of Power too. I'm keeping the Cryptic Research for sure. Normally I would toss everything, but since I know the mini boss is coming, I might want to keep that Vicious Blow. So let's see. We've got a Magnifying Glass, Promise of Power, and Deduction are my next ones. Okay. Not ideal. I've got a Deduction I can put underneath me, but that's about it. What I'm not seeing a Dream Serum. I'm not seeing a Lab Assistant, but I do have a Cryptic Research. So at least I'll be able to start to get this ball rolling. Okay, let's get some resources on the table here. And let us begin. So, beginning of the investigation phase, I reveal, whoops, that would be a perception. Well, look at that. And I have to put one thing beneath her. Well, it's going to have to be the perception because everything else really stinks. Now, I do have a location with no clues. I need to get to as many locations as possible. And unfortunately, yeah, this might be tough. But before I get into my thought patterns, let's just play a Cryptic Research right off the bat, because that's a fast action to draw 3 cards, and then we'll see what I'm dealing with. Inquiring Mind, Obscure Studies, Practice Makes Perfect. That is all very good stuff. Okay, so for a fast action, I'm going to throw out a Magnifying Glass. Which gives me +1. So I don't have a shortcut, which means I'm not doing any movement shenanigans, which is a little bit unfortunate. Okay. So I guess I'm moving to... Wait a second. I can go anywhere I want, can't I? If I can move to any one of these, maybe I want a gun straight for the stairwell. I need a gun straight for the stairwell. Or the light. Oh man. That one's useful too. So this one, if the gatekeeper's lighthouse is, I know it's a higher shroud location, and it's got a key on it that really helps you if you get captured. I know I'm playing this with knowledge of knowing what's happening. That's a really good one. In fact, no, we're going to do this one. We're going to do this one because I want to guarantee the card draw. A slightly lower shroud helps me out quite a bit. Okay, so my goal now is to use perception to get a bunch of stuff. So I'm currently sitting at a 6 on a 3. I can pump that up if I want to. I think I might want to pitch an Inquiring Mind to this, actually. I want to really, really surpass this test. As a Cultist. Cultist is -2. If you fail, increase the FUD level of your location. I did not fail, and I also succeeded by 2, so I get to draw 2 cards from Perception. One is a Cryptic Writings, and one is a Dream Enhancing Serum. So the Cryptic Writings, I will pay immediately. Play that for free for 2 resources, which is good to see. I might just want to investigate again at this location, just to grab more cards. My goodness. That's a tough one. I've got a deduction underneath. I mean, I can really, really stall for time if I keep this going. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because there's lots of things that I'm thinking about. Because I'm thinking of where do I want to get the clues? Because I want to get through this agenda as fast as possible. And then, is there a way I can get that perception back to my hand? And there potentially is, but I could just take an investigate test now and bring that perception back. But I think I'm just going to chance it. I'm going to run to the Lightkeeper's cottage because I want to not stand in one location for too long. We're going to put 2 clues on this one. It's got a 4 shroud. And then we're going to see what happens next turn. If I'm really lucky, then the encounter card I draw will have a test on it. And then I can use Obscure Studies to pull perception back to my hand. If I'm really lucky. But for now, we have upkeep. I draw into a curiosity. That's good to have. I'm going to start pooling resources. Those silver ones are going to be worth 3. And I put a Doom on the agenda. We are now at 2 Doom of 4. My encounter card is Riptide. If your location is unflooded, it gains Surge. All right. Too bad, because that would have been a test. Okay, it is a Lurking Deep one. A Lurking Deep one. So I take a damage. Of course. I've got a deep one right off the bat, because why wouldn't I? If one thing is going to slow me down, it's going to be that. Okay, beginning of my turn. I draw a card. It is a deep diary, dream diary. Well, I am not liking this. I got to get rid of that lurking deep one. I want to do all of this fast. Okay, so this did not work out as I wanted, but that's Arkham for you. We're going to throw a Vicious Blow underneath me. And I know I was saving it for the big baddie that's coming out in like a turn, but I kind of got to do what I got to do. I'm going to, as my first action, take a swipe against this guy. And I don't have any other fist pips here, so I am going to promise a power this. Because I want to make sure this succeeds, and it is a +1, so I didn't actually need to pitch that, but it was enough to take care of the lurking deep one. Action 2, I'm going to put out a dream diary, because I'm going to want Essence of the Dream for what's coming next. And now here's where it gets really smart. Action 3, I'm going to investigate, but when I initiate the skill test, I'm allowed to put her signature card, Obscure Studies, underneath her, and take Vicious Blow back to my hand. So I can save it for next turn. So I am now a 5/6, and if I pitch Deduction to this test, I am now a 7 on a 4, and that would be a -2. That's a success, which means I grab both clues. I now have I do not have to spend the clues. And I don't think I will. Because there's just think about the doom threshold and what's going to happen next. It doesn't matter. I'm going to wait till the beginning of next turn. It'll actually help me out quite a bit. Okay, so end of round. There's no more enemies. I will upkeep. I draw into a Cryptic Research. Gain a resource. And there's now a doom on the agenda. That's 3 of 4. And my encounter card is Totality. Revelation 3 will. If you fail, put this in your thread area. And it makes me take a horror whenever I enter a flooded location. That doesn't matter right now. I'm just going to... Well, I mean, I'm a 5 walking into this. Auto fail. Yep. Okay. well, this is in front of me, but at the end of my turn, I discard totality. So really, I don't care about that. Beginning of my turn, I flip over a card, Whispers in the Deep. Well, this is where all good plans go to die. I have to put that underneath me. It's my weakness. I am now ones across the board. Well, all right. Let's spend all my clues. Let's do this. Let's advance the act. As you tiptoe through the old, time-worn structure, you hear muffled conversation from within the small cottage attached to the lighthouse. You press your ear upon a nearby wall and stand perfectly still, your heart racing. Find them, a deep croaking voice orders. Do not let them reach the grotto. The Order's secrets must be preserved. Yes, Osiris, a few quiet voices reply in unison. You wait until the sounds of footsteps has faded before you resume your investigation. Looks like your hunch was right. Osiris is here. So he is spawned here, exhausted. Now this guy is a 4-fight, 6 hit point enemy with Hunter and Retaliate, with 2 fleetness. So 2 hits with a vicious blow can take him out. However, I've got Whispers from the Deep. So I now shuffle each copy of Worth His Salt into the encounter deck. That would be 2 cards that relate directly to Osiris Marsh. And we put the set-aside lighthouse basement location into play directly below the stairwell. And that would be this one here. I'm not allowed to enter this unless I have the blue key. Speaking of, am I supposed to have a key? Yeah, sorry. There's supposed to be a yellow key on this location, which I now have because I discovered all the clues. I'm just going to throw that up here. All right. So, and then it says advance directly to Agenda 2A without resolving the other side of Agenda 1A, which is great. So this, when this agenda advances, all that doom stays there and goes to Agenda 2A, unchanging as the sea. The Order knows you're here. You have little time to spare. You have to find the way into the lair before they mobilize to capture you. Everything is exactly the same, except when an investigator is captured, you can advance this agenda. And as before, once this is completed, you move all doom to it to the next agenda. So you do want to be really fast in this. Act 2A, Finding the Path. Falcon Point contains many secrets the Order does not wish you to know. Perhaps dealing with Osiris will open the way. Objective, if we enter the lighthouse basement before the agenda advance. And I forgot one thing. He is supposed to have the blue key on him. So he's got the key to the lighthouse basement. And lucky me, I don't have a vicious blow underneath me. Okay, so let's try this. Let's Cryptic Research, which is fast. Drawing 3 cards. Nihilism, great. So now if I draw the autofail, I take a damage and a horror. Eureka, and a lab assistance. There. Oh, and I have, because it's the beginning of my turn, I have Essence of the Dream back in my hand, as per Dream Diary. So as long as I have, how many cards is it? 8 cards in my hand, Dream Diary gets +2 wild pips, but it starts at 2. So let's see. Here's my plan. My plan is to try to pull out my second vicious blow, because if I can hit him for that and just smack him while he's exhausted and not have to worry about retaliate, this could really work. However, I have to actually hit him. So to do that, let's see here. I'm going to use my first action, spend 2 resources, and bring out my lab assistant. And this is where it's going to get a little messy up top. So I'm going to put the lab assistant down here, And I'm going to move my hand a bit. The lab assistant, when she enters play, means I get to draw 2 cards. So we have a Dream Enhancing Serum and Alina Harper, all very good. However, not the card I wanted. So, how many cards do I have left in my deck? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cards left in my deck. So, the question is, if I use Practice Makes Perfect, the odds of getting my second Vicious Blow are pretty good, right? They're pretty good. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to attack him. I'm going to spend 1 resource for Practice Makes Perfect to search the top 9 cards in my deck. It is there. I also had a Promise of Power. Unrelenting is good too. Why haven't I drawn those yet? Okay, Vicious Blow, of course, I'm going to add to my hand. That gets committed to this test. Shuffle that up. I can then commit a second Vicious Blow. Heck, I don't even mind committing Alina Harper if it comes to it. What am I at? I'm at 5, 6. This puts me up at an 8 if I pitch all of that. Sorry, if I pitch 4 cards, that makes me an 8 on a 4. That's pretty darn good. Elder Sign. Elder Sign is actually not good right now because it doubles the icons underneath you, and the one underneath me is my weakness, which means it's effectively a -1. That's a funny combo. That's never happened to me before. Okay, so 7 on a 4. So the good news is he has taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage from that. I mean, I spent my entire hand to do it. And this goes back to my hand. And now I have to somehow hit him 1 more time. I don't think that's happening because I don't have a mind over matter. So I've done 2 things so far. I think for my 3rd action, I'm going to get out my Dream Enhancing Serum. So I only have 4 cards in hand. However, I've been cycling quite a bit, or I will be cycling quite a bit. I'm almost halfway through my deck. And I do have my Dream Diary. So I'm not totally without a plan here. So the beginning or the end of my turn, Osiris Marsh wakes up. He's engaged with me. Let's see here. I'm going to remove Totality because Totality now has gone to the discard pile. And I do my upkeep, drawing into a shortcut, which is kind of nice to see. I gain 1 resource. We put 1 Doom on the agenda. And that's almost it. I draw an encounter card. It is Rotting Remains, test 3 will. Ugh. For each point you fail by, take a horror. I think I'm just going to fail this. What's a tablet? -3. If you fail and your location is flooded, take a damage. Well, I'm not. It's not flooded. So I take 3 horror. Oh, no, I take 3 horror. So I'm going to put 2 on myself and 1 on a lab assistant. All right, my turn. Beginning of the investigation phase, I draw into a Curiosity, and I can Dream Enhancing Serum that to draw a 2nd card, which is Promise of Power. So now I have to choose 1 to put underneath me. So I do want to get to the basement. I do want to get... The lantern room is nice for the extra key. Let's see here. I'm thinking about what I can do in one turn. If I hit, shortcut, move, I could investigate, but I'm not seeing. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out too well. Okay, I have to put a card underneath her, and I would like it to have some pips. By the way, Essence of the Dream is going to come back to my hand too. I think I just. Throw a curiosity underneath her. Just a curiosity. Yeah, because I don't need to throw the vicious blow, provided I just, hit with this one test. I do just have to hit, though. And if I throw a Promise of Power and an Essence of the Dream, that's an 8 on his 4, which I think I might do. Let's smack Osiris Marsh. That's another curse in the bag. Cultist is, again, -2. That's enough, as long as I had hit him once. Osiris Marsh has been defeated, and he will never appear again, right? No, he'll come back. And I get control of the blue key. I will then, for my second action, move to the lighthouse stairwell. Then I will spend a shortcut to move up to the lantern room. Oof, we've got another 2 clues up here. Look at that. With a 2 shroud? Well, now I wish I had that deduction still. And I guess, what am I at? I have 4 cards in hand. So this gives me a 1, 2, I'm a 5. I'm a 5 on a 2. Investigating for my last action. That's a curse, so I'm a... And that is an elder sign. So, actually, the elder sign completely nullifies the curse. Yeah, because now I've got an extra book. Yeah, so I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2 is 3. 3 on a 2, I still get through. And that's 1 clue. That's the end of my turn, so I will go back into upkeep because there's no enemies. Draw into a magnifying glass, which is now just pips for me because my hand slots are full. I will gain 1 resource. Just a moment here. All right, and now 1 doom on the agenda. We are at 5 of 7. Drawing into Worth His Salt, you attach to Osiris Marsh, even if he is in the victory display. Basically, after he moves via his hunter keyword, if he is unengaged, he hunts again, but he doesn't attack this phase, okay? And when he attacks, he deals +1 damage and +1 horror, and then you discard this card. So Osiris Marsh is getting beefed up, even though he's not in play. Beginning of the investigation phase, I draw into a shortcut. Again, very good to see that. But I have to put a card underneath her. I think I'm going to throw Eureka. It's the only card right now that's giving me... the only thing that's giving me card draw. You realize this means I have a Perception and 2 Unrelentings in my very small deck. Too funny. And, of course, I get Essence of the Dream back to my hand. So, let's start by investigating. I'm a 3, 4. Might as well pitch Essence of the Dream. 6 to a 2. 6 -3 gives me up to 1. So that's 1 clue. I'm going to shortcut because got to be fast. That's second action. I can move to Falcon Point Cliffside, which has a single clue on it. Single shroud. Oops, I keep forgetting these keys. There's supposed to be a white key in the lantern room. That's why I went there. Okay, so I have the white key. So if you control the white key, using the white key, you peer out into the dark, stormy horizon, and something sparks in your memories. I get a flashback. The flashback. You peer up at Falcon Point lighthouse, but from much farther below. You're aboard Mr. Moore's fishing vessel during your voyage to Devil Reef several weeks earlier. The ship sways back and forth as angry waves thrash against its hull. Afraid it's going to be a bit rocky, the ship captain shouts over the crashing of the tumultuous sea. Weather's been awful wild of late, strange tides and stranger winds. But still you stare up at the ominous lighthouse, its beacon a guiding light, a warning sign, or both. Curious what knowledge he might have, you ask Mr. Moore about the lighthouse. That old thing? Been there longer than Innsmouth itself. Marsh family's kept it running as long as I remember. Osiris is keeper now. Strange fellow, that Osiris. They say the only place in town he visits is the Order of the Dagon Hall by New Church Green. He shakes his head. You wonder if there are more secrets inside that lighthouse than meets the eye. Mr. Moore seems to note your curiosity. I've heard them marshes carved out caverns beneath the lighthouse, going all the way down to the sea level and beyond, he claims. Don't know if that's true, but sometimes when I'm out at sea, I've seen groups of them up by the cliffside, all waving and kneeling like they're praying or something. Never really played him much mind, but his voice grows quieter. Just thought you ought to know. You nod and thank him. If what he's saying is true, perhaps you should give this lighthouse a visit. You make a mental note to research more about Falcon Point once you return to town. When your mind snaps back to the present, you recall the legwork you've done after your expedition to Devil Reef, and the information you found on the vast network of tunnels beneath the lighthouse. So I get to record a memory, a conversation with Mr. Moore. Choose and remove a special token from the bag. Ooh, for the remainder of the campaign. Well, there are no Elder Things. I still have a cultist, but I think the tablet's probably the next worst one to get rid of. So we're getting rid of the tablet, which means I don't think I have a tablet in there anymore. I also get a free clue from the token pool. Clues are nice. Okay, and for my last action... Oh, did I should have dug for a card with Eureka, since I succeeded at that test. Oh boy. I've got a perception and an unrelenting. I mean, I think right now the perception's probably better. Shuffle that back in. You know what? No, I'm taking the unrelenting because I want to pitch that right now. And I'm going to keep the perception later. Okay, so unrelenting. I'm going to, for my last action, investigate. I'm a 3, 4, 5 if I pitch unrelenting. But if I search the bag for 3 good symbols, so an Elder Sign, a +1, and a 0, then I get to immediately draw 2 cards, Cryptic Writings, and a Perception. The Cryptic Writings I can immediately play, because I drew it during my turn, for 2 resources. Okay, so I've got 1 curse left in the bag, a couple skulls, which, what are they doing? Additional token, if your location is flooded. Yeah, that's not bad. -1. So I am a, did I say I'm a 4? 4 and a 1, -3, yeah. So I get that final clue. These clues are going to be really helpful. End of round, upkeep. There's a mind over matter. Let's do an additional resource. Again, that one's worth 3. 1 doom on the agenda. That is 6 of 7. Drawing into a deep 1 hatchling. Surge. Okay, after you engage a deep 1 hatchling, you must either lose an action, yikes, or it attacks you. Oof. Because I've got to get to the basement this turn. Or I've got issues. Okay, I'm going to take the horror, lose the lab assistant, because I should have another one in my deck. And this thing, what is it? This thing gains surge. I am now frozen in fear. Oh, that's in this deck. First time I move, fight, or evade each round, I get an additional. I lose an action. Okay, so I'm actually not getting into there this turn. Deep One Hatchling is now engaged with me. Oh, that was unfortunate. I got greedy. I got greedy and I paid for it. Unless I want to take 2 horror. Getting rid of this thing. Yuck. Okay. New round. Beginning of the investigator phase, I draw into a laboratory assistant. And I got to put something underneath me. When I defeat the Deep One Hatchling, the nearby enemies move towards me. I just want to evade this thing and get out because I don't have to kill it. So we're just going to put a mag glass underneath me. Because Essence of the Dream is now back to my hand. Which means I can evade this thing, what is it, a 4 on a 1? Yeah, I'll get this. -2. So that actually cost me 2 actions. And then I move for 1. Very unfortunate that I didn't make it down to the basement. Well, this thing readies at the end of its turn. Frozen Fear. Oh, at the end of my turn, I get to test Will. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, so I don't want Frozen in Fear, so I'm actually going to pitch 2 cards to this. This is 1, 2, 3. I'm a 5. 5 on a 3 is 0. Okay, cool. I'll take that. Again, very expensive pass, but a pass. That was going to be a card that killed me. And did I draw my card? I did not draw my card. Unrelenting, resource, doom on the agenda, so we advance. Unfortunate. Suddenly you're ambushed by more of the repulsive hybrid creatures than you could possibly fend off. Cold, scaled hands grab your arms and pin them behind your back. The next thing you know, a sack is thrown over your head, obscuring your vision. You struggle in vain against your captors, but you're outnumbered and outmatched. Take them below, a croaking voice commands. They must learn the consequences of trespassing on sacred ground. Each investigator is captured. Place each of their keys on holding cells. If Osiris Marsh is in play, set him aside out of play. That's fine. Shuffle each set-aside copy of Taken Captive into the encounter deck. Oh man, I mean, I didn't have to... I could have avoided that. Reveal the lighthouse basement. 2 shroud, but if you're at that location, you can spend a clue to look at the revealed side of a tidal tunnel location. Isn't that cool? Da-da-da-da. All right, so now this is going to get really big, this map. Because we have now entered the depths of the lighthouse. Should be 7 doom here. And I believe I advance. Yeah, advance the act immediately. Without resolving Act 2. Worshippers of the Deep. Deep below the lighthouse is a web of tunnels filled with information pertaining to the Order's activities. You must learn what you can before escaping. After the end of the investigation phase, each investigator fully flooded location must either take 3 damage or move to the location directly below them. I must resign to advance. Okay, the lantern room, I don't think I'm going to the lantern room anymore. I'm just going to put it up to the side in the victor display because this map is going to get really busy. So, I am now captured in the holding cell with all of my keys in the holding cell. And I can't pick them up again until I grab that clue. I cannot enter, enemies cannot enter or spawn here. I can test 3 Fist or 3 Fleetness to pick the locks, or if I control the yellow key, I can just get out. Agenda 3A, the tide rises. A wave of cold familiarity washes over you as you see the water level starting to rise throughout the tunnels. The tide is rolling in. If you aren't quick, there won't be much left here to investigate. Luckily, you still have a way out should the tide rise too quickly. All right. And I do have to, like, triple check this. That I'm moving to the right agendas and all that. Nope, that's 4. Yeah, move all doom on it to the next agenda. Okay. All right. So we are 7 of 10. This goes quick. That's the tide. Okay, so we have the upper depths, the lower depths, the final depths, which you can barely see. So we're just going to shift all this up a bit. In fact, I think I might move these over here. Just because this is going to get that big. There we go. I think we can see everything now. I'm in the holding cells, but we have a whole bunch of locations to throw out. And just as before, locations in the same row are all connected to each other, but not in the same column. So we've got this staircase down the middle. And when I'm here, I can start peering into adjacent locations by spending clues, which I made sure I have a lot of. And this place actually connects directly to all of these stairwells, if I get out of here. Okay, so now I get to draw my bad card, Syzygy. I must decide, either lose 3 resources, take 2 horror, or place a doom on the current agenda. Well, I'm losing 3 resources. That's not even an option. Beginning of my turn, I draw into it. Practice makes perfect. Good to see. And I get to pick a card to put underneath me. It's going to be Unrelenting. I do not know what this turn is going to bring me. At all. It all depends what happens when I get out of here, right? So I'm going to start by spending $2. Let's put out another lab assistant because I'm going to need the horror soak. And she's going to draw me 2 cards. I just decked myself, so I take a horror for that. Black key shouldn't be there. All right, what else have I got here? I didn't miss any other keys, did I? Hope not. Hope not. Okay, so I still have 1 more card to draw, and that is another perception. Because I have Dream Enhancing Serum, I can get another card, and it is a shortcut. I love the shortcuts. They're a big reason why I'm going so fast. So, I get to investigate. Oh, I get a dream, in essence, the dream back in my hand too. This is fantastic. I get to investigate. I am going to pull out 3 good ones here. Elder Sign and 2 zeros. Pulling out from the bag for the Unrelenting that's underneath me. Which means I get to immediately draw 2 cards. One of them is Practice Makes Perfect. One of them is Inquiring Mind. So I now have over 8 cards in my hand, which means I can play Essence of the Dream for a +4. So I'm an 8 on a 3 right now, without even trying. -1. I pull up the clue. I get all my keys back. Action 2, I use the yellow key to get out of here. Which means I'm now free. Action 3, I'm going to move. Let's go to the bottom one right now. These can go back in the bag. And I am going to start spending clues. I'm going to spend 3 clues. Oops, I suppose I should flip the Sunken Grotto. Okay. 4 Shroud, I can spend a clue to look at the revealed side of any tidal tunnel location in this row. So if I spend 3 clues, I get to peek at all 3 of them. Got a tidal pool, which gets a face-down key on it. Probably very useful. We have a Deep One Nursery. If I have a purple key, something happens there. And the pump room. Oh boy, there we go. That pump room is really important. So that one, I get to choose 2 locations and so I do a book test or a fleetness test. If I succeed, I choose 2 locations and decrease their flood level. That is really, really good. That is the second most important location, because the location to get me out of here needs to be unflooded. So that's step 1 on about how I escape. So let's mark that here. And I'm just going to put a little key symbol here upside down. Just know that there's a key there. And that's that. You know what? I might as well do a shortcut. Just shortcut up 1. And I'm going to spend 2 more clues to have a peek around. We've got another tidal pool. Okay, so we've got another key. And the Sunken Archives becomes fully flooded. And you put the black key on it. Clues cannot be discovered here while it is flooded. So the only way to get through it is to go to the pump room, decrease the flood level, run back before its flood level gets increased again, and grab the key. Okay, so we got a bit of the lay of the land here. I think it's time to continue. So that's the end of my turn. We will go into upkeep. I have a curiosity and my only copy so far, so I don't get to Dream Enhancing Serum that one. But I do get a resource. We're going to add 1 Doom. We are now at 8 of 10. Drawing my bad card, it is a Kiss of Brine. Test 2 Fist. Increases difficulty of the test by 2 if you are at a flooded location. If you fail, take a damage and put Kiss of Brine into play in your threat area. You cannot gain resources or draw cards. Well, that should be okay here. I can take the damage. So, 2 Fist, hey? I actually think I want the card draw right now. So I'm going to, since I still have this wonderful card underneath me, I'm going to do what I did last time. Use Unrelenting, pull out 3 good tokens, immediately draw 2 cards, One's a curiosity, and one's a promise of power. I get to tap Stream Enhancing Serum to draw Whispers from the Deep. Not fun, which means that's going to be coming out. And what is this? This is a skull, -1. What was I? That's a fail. That's a fail by... No, it's not, because I'm a 3. 3 -1. I actually passed that. Didn't even mean to. I just wanted the cards. Okay, beginning of my turn. I draw into an Unrelenting. Yeah, lots of cards here. But I have to put Whispers from the Deep underneath me. Okay. Let's have a look-see here. We've got some lovely perceptions. We've got a couple Mind Over Matters. We've got a couple Practice Makes Perfects. We've got a Vicious Blow. We've got 2 Curiosities. An Unrelenting, or an Inquiring Mind. An Unrelenting. And a Promise of Power. And I have Essence of the Dream. So I guess action 1, we're moving. This gains a clue. And after it's revealed, I put the key on it. It is not... Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing else here. Okay, so single clue. So my next action, I guess I'm just going to investigate. And I might as well pitch... I mean, I just want the cards. Really. It's not like I even need the percent... Although I'm pretty much set up. Do I... Is my plan just to cycle through here as fast as possible and grab those shortcuts? I think that might be it. So I'm a 3, 4, 5. Pitch Essence of the Dream. 6, 7, 8, 9 on a 3. -4. That's still enough. I grab a clue. I grab the purple key. And the purple key was, I believe, for this guy here. Yeah, so I would get a flashback if I walked into that. I might as well move here. What is it, the end of the round? I must either take 3 damage or move directly below. Okay, so I'm going to move to this one. The Moon Room. If it's unflooded, I get to don an empty diving suit and dive into the reflecting pool. If you control the black or red keys, place each one you control on the current act. This is really good. So I have the place I'm supposed to go. I know the location of the place to decrease that flood level. I have a key. I can potentially get a second key. I don't want to dawdle around here any more than I have to. Oh, by the way, I succeeded, didn't I? By, that was a -4. So technically I was up, I was a 3, 4, 5 on a 3. So I actually succeeded by 2. So I do get to draw 2 cards. Dream Enhancing Serum and Cryptic Writings, which I can immediately play for 2 resources. That's my perception. Excellent. Okay, so this is, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a pretty good spot. End of round upkeep. Draw into a Lab Assistant. And I gain a resource. What have I got here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just enough. Just enough cards. And I did the Doom already, didn't I? Oh, right, 9 Doom. 9 Doom, and my encounter card is a Lurking Deep One. After he engages me, I take a damage. That's okay, I can take the damage. All right, beginning of the investigation phase. I draw into a cryptic research, and I pitch this annoying whispers from the deep. That lurking deep one is going to have to die. So let's just toss the vicious blow underneath him. Ooh, Osiris is coming out next, isn't he? Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Because I gotta get rid of this guy. The Essence of the Dream comes back to my hand. I get to play Cryptic Research, which is fast, drawing into a Promise of Power, a Cryptic Research, and a Cryptic Writings. The Cryptic Writings I will immediately play for $2. And I will immediately play the second Cryptic Research for another 3 cards. Deduction, Shortcut, Mag Glass. And there was a second Promise of Power in there, so my Dream Enhancing Serum gets to go off. Yeah, this is crazy. And there's my next Vicious Blow. Okay, so that worked a little bit. I think I'm going to pitch the Essence of the Dream. So I'm 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on a 2 minus 4. Kills the lurking deep one. That's action 1. Action 2. Let's move to the Tidal Tunnel. Just to open this one up. So it's got a clue, 2 shroud. After it's revealed, it becomes fully flooded. And then I get the black key on it. And then for my last action, I know I'm at a fully flooded location. I'm just going to put out my second lab assistant, drawing 2 cards. It is a Eureka and an Alina Harper. So, yeah. Let's look at all this again. We've got 2 practice makes perfects, 2 curiosities. So for the purposes of cards in my hand, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I actually have to ditch 2 cards. And it's going to be... I don't think I need... No, it's going to be a Mag Glass because I don't need that anymore. I'm definitely keeping my shortcut. It's going to be Promise of Power. Okay. That is the end of my turn. So I have to either take 3 damage or sink. So I will sink down below to the Deep One Nursery. And it is partially flooded. End of round, I do my upkeep. So I draw into an Obscure Studies. Oh, this is now where I should have done my discard cards. So I'll discard my second... Good lord, I don't know what I want to discard. I don't actually need the deduction anymore. Toss that. And I have decked myself, so I will give my second lab assistant 1 horror. So this is the fun part. There's almost nothing left in my deck, except, what, shortcuts and all the ones I spent. Okay, all this doom finally goes off. Familiar heavy breathing echoes across the slick rocks of the caverns and the stone walls of the lighthouse. You duck behind some cover as you hear footsteps approaching. Then comes a loud creaking and slamming of a heavy metal door, followed by a telltale click that stops your heart dead. Someone has sealed the exit to the lighthouse above. These are all gone. There is no way I can escape by getting back out of the lighthouse. Search every out-of-play area for Osiris Marsh and spawn him in the upper depths. Okay, each other card at the... Yeah, okay. So find the 4 bottommost locations that can have their flood levels increased and increase them. And that's it. Agenda 4A, Terror at Falcon Point. The crash of waves on the shoreline echoes through the porous tunnels underneath the lighthouse. Your pulse pounds in your ears as you struggle to stay ahead of the water. Osiris Marsh now has 8 health. And beware, the scenario may not end when this agenda advances, but the tide will continue to rise. I have 3 rounds to get out of here. Beginning of the investigation phase, I draw into cryptic writings. Not doing anything for me right now. So I want to be as fast as possible. And I do want to get something underneath me. I know that's going to be a book test. So, I mean, why don't we just perception? Seriously, why don't we just perception underneath me? Okay, so first things first, I control the purple key, so I get to read a flashback. You speak with one of the many sailors who frequent a ramshackle tavern by the docks of Innsmouth, somewhere in the southeastern slums of the decrepit seaport. He's found his own little corner of the pub in which to hide and drown himself in alcohol. So much the better. You'd prefer to keep your investigation quiet. You jot down notes as the drunken man rambles on about the creatures he's seen swimming off the coast and prowling around the reefs. Deep ones, he names them. Caught one of my net once, he blabbers through slurred speech. She and her eggs, that's right, her eggs. Bigger than your fist, and squirming and wriggling, too. Absorbed in the ritual of telling a tale for his fellow sailors, he elaborates. She had one of them in her arms, tiny little devil, with bulging, hateful eyes. Couldn't stand the sight of it. I threw the net over as soon as I realized what I caught, and it came right back here. If I had my way, I'd never sail again. You mull this new information over in your head. If this man speaks the truth, these creatures seem to have a life cycle similar to that of a fish. But then, what is the purpose of the uncanny hybrid creatures you have seen skulking about the town? Are they but figments of your frightened imagination? Or is there a much more sinister part of this life cycle that you are missing? I get to record a memory, the life cycle of a deep one, and remove a special symbol, chaos token, from the bag. Non-skull, of course. The only one left is a cultist, so it seems like my strategy, whether I planned it or not, was to remove all the special symbols and win that way. All right. Let's begin by shortcutting to the tidal tunnel. And I get to test 2 book or 2 fleetness. If you succeed, choose 2 locations, decrease the flood location of one location, and increase the flood level of the other. But if I succeed by 2 or more, I may instead just decrease the flood level. So I'm going to probably just sit here in the pump room for a little while. So I'm a 5. Oh, I get Essence of the Dream back to my hand, don't I? Wherever that went, it's probably in my deck. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's get rid of a cryptic writings because I don't need that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on a 2, -4, which I didn't succeed by 2 or more. So we are going to increase, I don't know, that one for all I care, and get rid of that one. For my second deck, oh, I get to draw 2 cards because I passed, so we have a shortcut and a cryptic research. Yep, this is going to get stupid. Second action, I'm going to do this again, this time pitching Essence of the Dream. -1, my location is flooded, so reveal another token. That's another -1. I get to decrease, because I succeeded by 2 or more, just decrease the level of 1 location. Drawing 2 cards. One of them is a mag glass. One of them is a cryptic writings, which means I gain 2 resources. Yeah, for my third action, I will pitch a mag glass. Pitch. I don't need any more of this stuff. I really don't. So I'm gonna. I can't pitch Inquiring Mind. Yeah, I guess I'm a 6 on a 2. Cultist -2. I did not fail. So this one is now gone. And I get to draw 2 more cards because perception. See how Amanda is awesome? That's a promise of power and a deduction. So I get a dream enhancing serum because of the promise of power and draw whispers from the deep. Bad timing. Yeah. I only have 3 cards left. I'm actually going to save that cryptic research. But I am going to shortcut because my deck's about to recycle to the sunken grotto here. Whew. This darned whispers from the deep. This darned whispers from the deep. Okay, end of my turn. There's a second cryptic research, dream enhancing serum for a perception. That's a lot of cards in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's my hand. So I had to destroy a deduction. Osiris Marsh moves again because he has this special worth his salt and hunter ability. So he is now engaged with me. One doom on the agenda. Drawing. Taken captive. Fleetness 4. If you fail, you are captured. Place each of your keys on holding cells. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Because Osiris can't enter the holding cell, so he would stay here. I basically get a free... But then I don't have a chance of hitting him. But then at the same time... No, I like this. I like this. I'm going to fail this test. In fact... Ooh, no, I'm going to pass this test. So I'm going to pitch Whispers from the Deep. I think... Yeah, we're definitely going to pass this test. We're going to pitch Whispers from the Deep. We're going to pitch Obscure Studies. So that is a 2. With these 2, I'm a 4. With Unrelenting, I'm a 5. And I can search the Chaos bag and just start removing really bad tokens. Let's remove the -4, the -3, and... Oh, there's another cultist in here? Let's remove that cultist. So everything in here is basically like a -2. Actually, the skulls might be worse than the -2. Yeah, I'm going to put a skull in there, because that's a reveal another token thing. What else have I got here? Part of me just wants to promise a power this. Just to make sure it goes off. What am I? 3, 4, 5 on a 4? Yeah, no, I gotta... We're gonna do this. 6, 7, 8, 9. Throw a curse inside. Curse. +1. So that's 1 curse down. That is a pass. That's fine. Like I said, I would have been okay with failing that, except this gave me a chance to get rid of Whispers from the Deep. Therefore, this next turn is going to be amazing. Okay, so for beginning the investigator phase, I draw into Unrelenting. That it also happens to be the last card in my deck. So that's another horror. Which means I get to shuffle this really small deck again. We can go back to the bag. Ooh, this is exciting. This is exciting. So Cyrus Marsh has 8 hit points. I'm going to put a Vicious Blow underneath Amanda. And you know what? There are very few cards left in this deck. Very few cards. And there happens to be a Vicious Blow amongst them. So I could, you know, I haven't even been using my Cryptic Researches because I haven't had to. I will, but I'm not going to do it yet because I don't want to draw into my second Vicious Blow. I want to get double use out of it. So I'm going to attack Osiris, but I'm going to practice makes perfect so that I could pull it out. Yeah, third card from the top. Here's a Vicious Blow. So I can commit that to this test. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 immediately. If I pitch the Essence from the Dream, that's a 10. I'm at 10 on a 4. And that's a 0 and a curse. So that's a -2. I'm an 8. 8 on a 4. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to Mr. Marsh. This goes back to my hand, which means I can do that again. See why Amanda's awesome. This time, no, I am going to pitch a Promise of Power. This is going off. Need to be getting rid of the curses, so let's do it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's another 5 damage to Osiris. He is in the victory display. That felt good. So I've done 2 things, I believe. Let's play a Cryptic Research, drawing into a Mag Glass, a Shortcut, and a Promise of Power. Let's do another Cryptic Research, drawing into a Shortcut, Whispers from the Deep, and a Cryptic Writings. The Cryptic Writings, I will immediately play 2, pay 2 to get. I have done 2 things. I am going to spend both shortcuts. 1 to zip here, 1 to zip here. And as my final action, I'm going to investigate, tossing Whispers from the Deep, inquiring Mind. So I'm at 2, 3, 4, 5. Six. Let's throw Eureka in there as well. -2. Eureka goes off. I get to draw a fun card underneath me. Yeah, that's going to be a Cryptic Writings, which I will immediately play for another $2. I get the clue. My weakness is gone. I have a black key. I'm almost out of here. Almost. Okay, end of round. Upkeep. I draw it into an Unrelenting. Use Dream Enhancing Serum to pull Obscure Studies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in hand. At least that's all Dream Enhancing Serum sees, so I'm good. 2 out of 3 Doom. My bad encounter card is a Tidal Alignment. Choose a location where there's at least one investigator. Increase that location's flood level. Okay, good thing I got the key. Each investigator at the location takes a damage. Yep. So I have 3 damage on me. Which means I can get out of dodge. I don't think there's anything left for me to do here. There's probably another VP or 2 hiding, but I think I did rather well. We're just going to get out of here. We dive. We dive. We're done. We advance. Putting the black key on the current act. The underwater tunnels seem to go on forever, stretching into murk-ridden eddies. Dark salt water crashes against the glass helmet of your suit. After what feels like an eternity, you burst into the cold evening air, chilled to the bone. You pull the heavy suit off, piece by piece, the moment you reach the shore. R1. All right. Resolution 1. Exhausted, you throw yourself out to the rocky shore. Waves lap at your ankles as you stare up into the sky. Behind the clouds, deep crimson hues spell an ominous end for all of humankind. Your skull pounds with agony as you struggle to remember why. The moon and sun slide into alignment. A thunderous crash resounds in the distance. Dark, churning clouds swirl and seethe over the hateful ocean. What does it all mean? What is the truth behind the Esoteric Order of Dagon? The truth hidden in Devil Reef. Darkness overtakes your senses once more. So, because I had resigned through the moon room, I possess a diving suit. That'll come into play later. Because I have the black key, I possess a map of Ynnith Lay. I don't have the red key, so nothing there. Relics, nothing there. And I get Victory X, which isn't a ton right now, but Osiris is worth 2, I believe. So that's Victory 3, and I'm just curious what was possible here. Looks like I missed 1 experience. That's not bad. That's not bad. I got 3, and 3 was what I was aiming for. I don't get to spend any of it yet. Oh, boo. Because we go straight to a flashback to the Order of Dagon. Okay, well, that was fun. That was, again, just as fast as Amanda is. And you can definitely see, like at the beginning, it took me a while to get going. And the reasoning was pretty much that my perceptions and unrelentlesses were hidden towards the bottom of my deck. But once I got there, I just steamrolled. Just being able to cherry pick what you want out of a very small deck with practice makes perfect, or just keep cycling over your shortcuts with your cryptic researches is fantastic. I didn't even get all my card draw out. I could have gotten out my second Dream Enhancing Serum, and then I could have had double the card draw from those ones. This is pretty insane, and just how quickly I dealt with Osiris Marsh really speaks volumes. I'm a Seeker, and what did I do? 10 damage in 2 turns? Again, that's what Amanda does. She's kind of okay, interspersed with these absolutely bonkers turns. So, I hope you enjoyed it. We're almost out of here. 2 more scenarios left. I will catch you next week. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Have a good one.